So Amy, I was wondering if we could talk a little bit more about how your life has changed since the accident, ways which may be difficult for you now. It might be helpful to think about changes at home, at school, with your friends.
Well, I fight with my mom a lot.
Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, we used to get along really well. We used to do a lot of stuff together. She'd take me shopping, and we'd cook dinner, and now she just wants to. It seems like she wants to keep me locked up, and she doesn't understand when I don't want to spend time with her and I want to go somewhere without her.
You say she wants to keep you locked up.
Well, that's what it feels like half of the time. I really like going to the park around the corner from my house or seeing my friend Jennifer. I just like to get out on my own. She worries that something's going to happen to me, and she pulls off the internet all these stories of kids being kidnapped.
So is that different now from how it was before, or has she always been like that?
Yeah, she was like that a little before, but now it's worse. So it's just really hard. I feel like I'm not allowed to leave the house. I don't want to be there.
Yeah. Is this mostly with your mom, or does your dad share these same concerns?
Well, my dad's not really around much. He's at work for most of the day, and he gets home really late at night. He's kind of become a workaholic. They fight a lot about that because he just works all the time now. Even on the weekend, he just works.
So is this new since your brother's death as well?
Yeah, he never used to go in on the weekends, and he was always home in time for dinner and stuff like that. We all ate together, but that hasn't happened for a long time.
And how is that for you?
It's kind of hard, but at the same time, I think it would be really weird to have it without my brother being there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when we have sat down to dinner together, there's just that empty chair. And it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah. So dinner's a tough time for all of you right now. And one of the ways you deal with that is to avoid sitting down together for dinner. Yeah, that makes sense. Remember we talked about lost reminders earlier?
Yeah.
Well, dinner time seems to be one of those situations which holds a lot of strong reminders for your family. I'd like to come back to that and focus more right now on some of these relationship problems you've mentioned. Now, first you talked about fighting with your mom, mostly about going out and her worrying about you. And now you mentioned that your mom and dad fight a lot too?
Yeah, they'll fight about anything. He'll come home late. He'll leave the car out of the garage instead of pulling it in. He won't call. He'll forget to pick something up at the store. It's just the little things that never used to matter seem to really matter now.
Yeah, I see. And how does that bother you? Are you usually home when they're fighting?
It depends. Sometimes I'll be out in the family room watching TV. Usually I try and make sure that I'm in my room before my dad gets home. Because I tried at first to get them to stop, and they ended up yelling at me or getting upset more. So a lot of times now I just try and get out of it. But if it goes on for too long, let's see, I broke my lamp once to see if they'd stop, and they did. They came to see what happened.
How did that work?
Well, they stopped yelling at each other, but then they started yelling at me, and then they found something else to fight about anyways. So I don't know. It just gets harder and harder.
Okay, let me see if I've got this right so far. You've talked about two kinds of family relationship problems you've had since the accident. One, you and your mom get into fights about you going out on your own. And two, your mom and your dad have been arguing a lot. Give me a sense of how upsetting these things are for you right now. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the least stressful and 10 being extremely stressful, where would you put the fighting between you and your mom?
It's around a 7.
Yeah, that's pretty stressful. What about this other one about your mom and dad fighting? How upsetting is that for you?
Probably an 8 or a 9.
Okay, so both kinds of conflict in the home are pretty stressful for you, but the fighting between mom and dad seems to be a little bit more upsetting. Let's look at both of these problems with a 4-step model that might be helpful.
Okay.
Step 1, decide ownership. In solving a problem, you've got to figure out whether the problem really belongs to you or somebody else. Now, especially in families that experience a trauma or loss, individuals can think, it's my job to fix everyone's problems. They see how unhappy mom or dad are and feel it's up to them to make things right. My guess is you felt that way, given what you've told me about trying to break up their fights. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. I hate it when they're fighting. It makes me feel really bad.
Exactly. Let me tell you a good rule for figuring out if a problem is your job to fix. Ask yourself, is this something that's happening between me and somebody else, or is this problem happening to someone else or between other people? Now, if the problem is happening between you and somebody else, then it is at least partly your job to fix. Let's say, for example, your mom gets mad at you because you left a huge mess in the kitchen. Then who's the problem between?
Me and my mom.
Absolutely. And what's your responsibility in this?
I don't know, to clean the kitchen? Maybe she misunderstood and it was really her turn to clean up the kitchen.
Okay, then your responsibility is to talk with her and figure out who was supposed to clean up the kitchen. But what if your mom or dad just lost their job and you notice that they're feeling sad? Is it your job to find them a new job?
I don't think so.
Of course. The problem is between them and their workplace and doesn't really involve you directly.
But if they're sad,
Yeah, you can be supportive and help them to feel better, but really, can you solve their job problem?
are you kidding?
So let's look at your two problem situations. What about your mom and dad fighting? Is that your job to fix or someone else's?
Well, I guess it's their job to fix, but it feels like I should do something.
Right. It hurts when you see them fighting and you really wish they wouldn't. But bottom line, can you make it so that they don't fight? I mean, do you have that power?
Nope.
I agree. I don't think you do. Now, you can try to be supportive of your mom and dad, but ultimately, it's not up to you. Now, what about the other problem where you feel your mom doesn't let you go out and do the things you want to do? Now, who does that problem belong to?
Well, it's definitely between me and my mom. If I ask her to go out, she usually says no, so I just go somewhere after school and get home late. And then we have a fight when I get home.
That's not good. The problem is yours, at least in part. Now let's go into the second step in this four-step model. Set goal. Now this step involves figuring out what your goal is, what you want to happen, and try to think about this in a win-win way so that both people, you and your mom, come out feeling okay.
Well, I definitely want to be able to go out on my own without her giving me such a hard time or without her going with me. Because sometimes she's like, well, I'll take you to the park. And I feel like I'm 3. So it would be really nice if I could go out for an hour or two after school. I'll stop at home first after school, and then I could go wherever I want.
Hold on. You're jumping ahead a little bit. Let's first be clear on your goal. You want to be able to go out on your own without your mom and without getting into a fight with her. And what about your mom? What do you want for her?
I want her not to worry so much about me.
Great. You want to be able to go out on your own without fighting with your mom and without her worrying a lot about you. That's a good win-win goal. Although I'm thinking you might not totally be able to control how much your mom worries. Perhaps the best you can do is find a way of reaching your goal that reduces your mom's worry, which leads us to step 3 in our problem-solving model, brainstorming. Now for this step, the idea is to come up with as many possible solutions as you can. Don't take the time now to judge them or be critical. Just think of some, and I'll write them down. We'll go through them later.
Well, I could make sure I stop off at home before I take off.
Okay.
Wait, maybe I could talk with my mom the night before about what I want to do.
Okay.
Or I could forget about my mom and just ask my dad first. He usually says yes to me about going out. He doesn't worry as much. I could bring a cell phone with me so that she could call me if she wanted to.
Okay.
I could go out with my friends she knows and likes. She doesn't really like Jennifer.
Okay.
I could just go out without asking, but make sure I got back before she gets home from work.
Mm-hmm.
I could go some places she would feel okay about me going.
And these would be?
The library. Boring. A friend's house that she could call up. Definitely not the bowling alley or the mall. Maybe the movies, but that would just be on the weekend. Not the park. She hates the park.
These are some great ideas. For the fourth and final step, we will evaluate and choose one or more of the options you came up with. Let's go through them one at a time and check out the pluses and minuses of each one and see how well they help accomplish your goal of going out on your own and reducing your mom's worry. Now first, your idea about going home first after school before taking off. How would that work? What are the pluses and minuses of that one?
Well, my mom would want me to do that, but when I do that now, she just says no all the time.
So by itself, it doesn't necessarily work out that you get to go out on your own. It sounds like it might help reduce your mom's worry if she did give permission. Let's give it a plus and a minus and go on to the next idea. What about making plans early and then asking your mom the night before?
Well, I've never really done it before. I don't know how it would work. She would probably like it because she wouldn't be so stressed.
Okay, there's a possible plus there and a question mark because you've never tried it. Now what about asking your dad instead of your mom?
Well, that could help me get permission, but it could really backfire. My mom could get mad at my dad and then they'd be at it again.
Okay, then a small plus but a big minus because it could start your parents fighting. It sounds like it would definitely not help your mom and her worrying.
Yeah, give that one a big minus.
How about bringing a cell phone with you?
Well, she would definitely like being able to call me all the time,
and you would get a cell phone. A definite plus there. And what about going out with friends she knows and likes?
Well, most of the time I want to hang with Jennifer, and my mom just doesn't like her. She thinks she scams people, and she doesn't like her mother either.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be a plus if you could hang with people your mom likes and trusts, but the person you most want to spend time with is not on her good list. Now, is there anything you could do to help her get on your mom's good list?
Well, she hardly knows her. Jennifer's kind of a new friend. She just doesn't like the way she dresses. She's really nice, though.
Well, so maybe one option would be to arrange for Jennifer to spend some time with your mom so that she could get to know her better. How could that work?
I could just invite her over to hang at my house.
Okay, there's another option. Now, not checking in with your mom, but just making sure you come home before she does. What are the pluses and minuses on that one?
Well, a plus is that I could just go out without any hassle and get to go where I want. Minus would be if my mom came home early, I would be busted.
Oh yeah, some definite pluses, but also a big minus. And the last one had to do with going places your mom would feel more comfortable with, like the library, a friend's house she could call you up at, not the bowling alley or the mall, and definitely not the park. What about those ideas?
Well, they make sense. My mom would feel more comfortable if I went to those places, but I don't want to go to some of those places. I mean, the whole idea is for me to have fun, and that's not going to happen at the library or going with just the people she likes.
So let me see if I got this right. You think it does make a difference with your mom where you go, but some of the places she would feel comfortable with are not interesting to you. And some of the places you want to go are definitely not okay with her, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering, are there any places you would feel good about that you're mostly, maybe not completely, interested in going?
Well, I wouldn't mind going to some stores with my friends that aren't in the mall. She just doesn't like where the mall is, and there are stores that are closer by that are okay. I could go to Simone's house.
Excellent.
She's all right, and my mom really likes her mom.
Okay.
I could probably go to the movies on the weekend if a parent dropped us off and picked us up.
Now let's look at our pluses and minuses and choose the options that seem to have the most going for them. Now it looks like stopping at home first wins out over just heading off without asking your mom. That it may even increase the chances of you getting permission if you work out a plan and ask the night before. Now the idea about asking your dad instead of asking your mom seemed to be more negative, and sort of just going out on your own and trying to get back before your mom got home. Now let's see the other options that seem good. Getting a cell phone, picking friends to hang with that your mom likes, such as Simone, but also trying to create opportunities for your mom to get to know and trust Jennifer more. Going places she'd be more comfortable with, like going to local stores or, even to the movies if you worked it out so you could be picked up and dropped off. Now, Amy, if you had to pick one of these options to try during the next few days, the one that might work the best for your goals, which one would you pick?
Well, I like the idea of making a plan first and talking to my mom the night before, and the idea of going to the stores around our house, maybe with Simone. She would probably go for that.
Okay, what about some of these longer term ideas like the cell phone and helping your mom get to know Jennifer better?
Yeah, those are definitely good ideas. I could talk to my mom and dad about those things too.
Great. Now let's get specific on what you're going to do this next week. And let me write this down so it's kind of like a contract between us. So, what are you going to do?
I'm going to talk to my mom the day before I want to do something after school, and I'm going to ask her if I could go to Simone's house.
Okay. Okay, and when are you going to do this?
I'd like to go over there Tuesday, so maybe Monday night.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Now, to make sure the conversation goes well between you and your mom, I'd like us to practice one more skill. It's called asking with an I message. Now, this is a simple way to ask for what you want. The key is following 3 simple steps that help to open up communication between you and your mom and increase the chances that you're going to get to go out. Now, you up for this?
Sure, that sounds good.
Okay. The 3 steps are: 1, tell them how you're feeling. 2, tell them about the situation that's making you feel that way. And 3, tell them what you want them to do. Let me give you an example. Yesterday, I was working with a student who was really mad because he got sent home from school because they thought he stole a teacher's purse, and he didn't. So we worked on the following iMessage to give him his mom when he got home. 1, I'm feeling really mad right now. 2, because Mrs. Simpson blamed me for stealing her purse, and I didn't. I got suspended for it. 3, and I just want to talk to you about it without you getting all mad at me and help me figure out a way to deal with this. Very simple. It had all the 3 parts. And you know what? When he was able to deliver this message in a calm way to his mom, she listened to him without flying off the handle, and they arranged for a meeting at the school the next day, cleared up the problem. Now, in your case, let's work out a clear I message that you can use to talk to your mom. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Great. Let's write it down as we go. First, what are you feeling? Remember when you were talking about how you feel kind of trapped or locked up by your mom's not letting you go out?
Yeah.
Well, what words would you use to describe to your mom how you feel when she repeatedly does not allow you to go out on your own?
Well, I feel trapped or smothered and angry, I guess.
Good, that's the first part. And what are the words you would use to describe to your mom the situation with her that makes you feel smothered and angry?
That she never lets me go out on my own. No, wait, that she always seems to worry about me so much that she doesn't let me do things on my own or with my friends after school. Things that I used to do and really want to do.
And the third part of the iMessage is, what do you want her to do, specifically?
Specifically, I want her to let me go out.
Well, remember, this is just leading up to the solution to the problem.
Okay, I want her to just listen to my idea about going out after school and keep an open mind.
Excellent. Let's put it together. Pretend I'm your mom and give me the I message.
Okay. Mom, I feel kind of smothered and trapped and angry when you worry about me so much that you don't let me go out after school, and all I want you to do is to just listen right now and keep an open mind about some ideas I have.
Fantastic. Good job. Now, how do you think your mom would respond to that?
Well, I think she would be okay. I mean, she would probably listen. It depends what's going on.
Yeah, good point, because if she's distracted or there's other things going on, it might be hard for her to listen. So let's say it's a Monday night. Is there a specific time and place you think she might be least distracted and at ease?
Probably after dinner and after my little sister is asleep, but not too late. About 8 o'clock, I think, and maybe in the kitchen. That's where we seem to talk the best.
Great. So at about 8 o'clock, preferably in the kitchen, you're going to give your mom your iMessage and then start talking about your proposal for going out after school. How does that sound?
I think it sounds pretty good.
All right. You did a great job today. I'm really looking forward to hearing about how this goes.
Yeah, thanks for all the help.
No problem.